save. Build. Sound money, sound money. All right. Save. Build. Sound money, sound money. Save. Build. Sound money, sound money. Save. Build. Sound money, sound money. All right. Save. Build. Sound money, sound money. Save. Build. Sound money, sound money. Save. Build. Sound money, sound money.
All right, ugly old goat again. We started out and our whole system crashed. So we're going to talk about, again, today's August 6, 2024, and we're going to be talking about searching for the bottom. And of course, we had an unprecedented pattern that happened over the weekend when we crashed. I pointed that out to you guys yesterday, where we was that down here? Okay, yeah. Anyway, we have what's called a 3-week island reversal. I've never seen that before in all my years in trading. I can't recall that something like that has happened. Where it just leaves 3 weeks of trading up in the air. Now, the only place it did it was on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or what people call the CME. I call it the Merc, but so people. And here it is. Here's a picture of it, because we were talking about this on our group on Fridays. I just meet with the subscribers, the members, and one of the members brought that up, saying, well, Ugly, what about that gap down there? What's the chances of us filling it? And I just said, well, there's a good chance you do. That's the old wives' tale, that you fill old gaps. And but the way that we did it, I think it surprised everybody. I mean, I don't know anybody that called this move. Now, we tend to have breaks in August, and we certainly had one but if you look, is it the other one here? Yeah, so this is what it is before the break, and then after the break, here's where we are. And that's what we did when we opened up yesterday. Now we'll look at that market, and how do I get out of this? I just close it?
No, just
Oh, go.
The first one.
This one?
The first one.
Okay. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at the Bitcoin market, and I think you want to be looking, again, is this market just going to simply reverse? And, is this just a shakeout? We got all these people buying on the ETFs, and which are really kind of weak hands, and everybody was excited about it. And then, we did reverse, and I was actually bullish in there until we took out those 2-week lows. And, now we've done this. Now, we are close to a daily 9, which will be actually hit tomorrow. Now, the question is, how's this liquidity? You got a lot, on the Merc. I'm not sure how they run the exchanges now on those futures. They might, because I don't trade on there, but in the old days, you know, you had 3 days to meet a margin call. So a lot of times the market, after it does something like this, it stays, before it recovers, it has to go down a little bit more. Because a lot of people woke up on Monday morning and, you know, if they didn't get stopped out, they got a big margin call. You know, and here is again the weekly, and you know, we sizably took this off. Now normally, you know, if this market rallies, whatever this high for the week is next week, you want to be a seller. That's the way I measure trends. I mean, in every sense, you have to measure that this is a downtrend. But you know, this is a very treacherous market. That's about all I can say. You had this monthly 9. Again, the 40,000 is not out of the woods yet. We could, and if you look at the seasonal, which we were looking at. Oh, Eddie, where is that seasonal?
It's the first couple of months.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. But look at the seasonal. You see right here, the very beginning of August through September. So, you know, we probably are making a bottom in here. Will we spike down and make a new bottom? Well, nobody knows. And that's why you have to trade accordingly. But you know, we knew that this was coming. We knew that sometime, you know, in August to September, we'd be making the bottom. It's just, I didn't, you know, this crash surprised me as much as it did, I think, everybody else. And it was touched off by, of course, the stock market. Now, here's the daily on the stock market, and here's the weekly. And we did the same thing on the stock market. We had this huge gap down. And so, you know, will we go up and fill it before we proceed back down? I am not. I just no way that I can look at this and be bullish on the stock market. Did you put the Nikkei, the Japanese index, on here? I did send it to you, but that's all right. I won't. It supposedly was set off by the Japanese market, but I looked at the Japanese market and it just kind of has the same pattern, just maybe a little bit more extreme. And then I haven't looked at gold at all today, but let's see what it's doing. All right. Well, it is okay. It's actually down. Whoops. No, this is gold. We don't need to look at the Japanese market. People pull that. I don't think it's that significant. I think it's highly overrated. But yeah, here's the gold, and we have a down day, but I'm very bullish on gold. I'm more bullish on gold than any other market. It's the only market that has kind of met all the rules. We went in here and, you know, we made new contract highs, and then we had the break. And now this week we took out we've done it twice. 2 weeks ago we took out the previous week's low and rallied. This week we took this low out without taking out the 2-week low. So this gold market is just hanging in here, getting ready to explode. Now I don't know, you know, what news is going to set it off. I'm an old gold bug, and so my view is that, you know, if we're going to save the dollar, we're going to resurrect the gold standard. And I think particularly for nation states, because they are national boundaries, gold works just fine. And so, you know, the only difficulty with gold is, you know, where is it safest? Like, you know, during World War II, all the nations sent their gold, the European nations sent their gold to the United States, and because they thought it would be safe there. Of course, when they closed the gold window, they wouldn't give it back. So they said, well, we'll give you dollars, but we don't really want to give you that gold. But a gold standard is sound money, and so is a Bitcoin standard. And I think the one optimistic thing that's going on right now is that we have two competing sound standards. And but they're both in their infancy, and so, you know, how they're going to develop, we'll just have to wait and see. The market will prevail. It's just that we tended to interfere these markets drastically. So, all right, let's go back and look at the Bitcoin. All right, so that's the Merc. Again, you have this huge gap. You see all this. The gap I'm talking about is here and here. We've got air, and I've just never seen anything quite like this. So it could just hang down here for a little bit and then pop back up. But I was much more when we were up here. When we were up in here, I thought on this downturn, I thought we could break 40,000. But when reversed, I got bullish, and now all we did was very quickly go back under the old low, and you're into the trend when we're making a seasonal low. So I'm not going to be. I won't be surprised if we go into a bear market and take out 40,000, but I'm also not going to be surprised if it reverses, and that's just I'm not making any predictions because how can you possibly predict these markets? What you're doing is we trade. If you predicted a market and you got caught in this thing and you were over trading, you just got wiped out. That's why you don't trade the market, you trade your equity, guys. And so hopefully if you got hurt real bad over this weekend, you need to get my book on equity trading, okay? You just need to read this. The whole thing about equity trading, to trade your equity, you're not going to get wiped out. You'll always be able to trade. Now, what you do is you choose to become a smaller trader. You don't just keep pyramiding and pyramiding and pyramiding. And your trading should be a very small part of your total portfolio, your all of your assets. All right, so let's go. Also, I pointed out the other day, yesterday too. Do we have that article on Michael Saylor? Is that up here or not?
No.
Okay, I made it kind of a joke yesterday that. Yeah, I made it a joke yesterday that if you dollar cost average at the last peak, you actually have traded better than Michael Saylor. Now, we measure that from peak, so we're assuming that you're the very worst trader in the world. And if you dollar cost average, you still wound up with a better average price. I think the average price is about 31,000, and Michael Saylor has an average price of about 35,000. So you've actually done better than Michael Saylor, which, I think a lot of Michael Saylor's commentary. He's a great spokesman for Bitcoin, but if this report is true that this is where he's purchased all of his Bitcoin, then he's not that great of a trader. So here it is again. He started back here in 2020, and when the market was 21,000, that's where he bought his first Bitcoin. Okay, but he didn't really dollar cost average. If you notice, when he bought here, he bought a smaller amount, and then it went up, and he bought he bought a smaller amount here, a smaller amount as it went up. Then he bought a much larger amount at 70,000, and that's not the price. What is this? Total Bitcoin. Okay, we didn't show it's not showing the price. Purchased amount. Okay, total Bitcoin, total dollars. He doesn't show the price on here, but you'll notice that the total. Okay. These are the total amounts that he bought. So he did not do a consistent dollar cost averaging. It was fairly consistent. Looks like he averaged about he was starting out at 20,000, then 40,000, 70, but he kind of doubled down up here when the, in 2024. This year he really added to it. So what? Okay, what I compare this to is this here is we did a study. This is we started at this peak a little later than he started, and we started at the very worst time, but in this study, we did a consistent amount of $500 a month. And if you've been following this program, you've now purchased $17,000 worth of Bitcoin. That's how much money you spent. And you wind up having a little over half a Bitcoin that's worth about $35,000. So that's how you get into Bitcoin, guys. And it takes patience, it takes discipline, and then you have to do it, which is execution. That's the 3 parts of trading that you have to get down. All right. Okay, so what's in the cards in the future? Well, you know what? I don't know, and neither do you. And so that's why we trade accordingly. And I do know this, that if you got caught over the weekend and took a huge loss, you need to learn equity trading. And again, that's available right here. I've got you can get these online, but I think I charge $100 more online. You get both of my books signed, and you'll get a PDF version. We're going to give you a whole kit, other books too. We'll visit that. You can buy this kit right here. It supports what I do. With shipping, it's $315. If you pay some Bitcoin, it's a little less. Now, if you're a trader and you got hurt real bad, I do recommend you look into my boot camp. Again, it's an 8-week program. It teaches everything about equity trading. We trade our equity, not the market. And the addition of this is we're adding the idea of accountability. And so if you hit that boot camp, you need to read the article. I call it Advanced Equity Trading. And, when was the last time you had a profitable year, or when's the last time you experienced the satisfaction of ending the year with a 10-fold gain or a 100-fold gain? Well, if the answer to these questions is never, there is something wrong with the way you're handling your trading. And that's what I want to fix for you, okay? If you just took a huge loss in the market and your stomach's just wrenching, this boot camp for $15,000 is going to save you a lot more than in the long run. What I do is change your thinking, and then after we change your thinking, we want to put you in touch with a group of like-minded people, so that it doesn't happen again. And so read this article. This is why I'm doing it. I didn't have a trading experience, but I had a personal life experience where I made a bad decision as far as my assets went with my wife, and I'm dealing with that. So, but here is the article I want you to read before you decide to do it. And then if you do it, you just sign up by hitting this book your call now. And we do a little questionnaire, and then you book your call, and I'll set up an interview with you so you can go through the program. All right, I think I'm done for the day. And guys, is this market going to go trend down? Well, I don't know. All the indications are that we're in a down market. We're going to stay down here for a while, but it's Bitcoin, and this thing can reverse very quickly. I will say this, and I think the gold market is poised for a very large, substantial move. I'd be very surprised if Bitcoin doesn't follow that to some degree. I'm not going to be surprised either way. I'm not going to be surprised if this is simply a spike down. I'm also not going to be surprised if we continue to trend down. I was looking for a break below 40,000 earlier this year, but the way we did this and the way that we got everybody bullish and then just pulled the rug out of everybody. A spike bottom would not be unusual. In fact, if I recall, I think the last time something like this happened, I probably ought to look at it, was when Bitfinex went under. I believe that was 2016. I'm pretty sure it was. And because I got caught in that one pretty bad too, but recovered, the market recovered almost immediately. And that's what could very well happen here. Oh, let's look. You put the basis on here, didn't you? Yeah.
I think it's the second one.
All right. Yeah, let's look at this. Oh, this is a seasonality.
Keep going. It's the third.
This is just look at this guy. I want to look at this because this is up to date. This is the seasonality. Now, this thing looked like it, this is just a very unusual pattern. We have not had a pattern, anything like this in these other years. It just hasn't happened. You see, this might be the closest one to it, but the volatility here is just incredible. All right, let's go. So is this it?
It's the first one, isn't it?
No. That's not it.
No, go back. That is the first one, I think.
No. I don't think it. No. There it is. Okay. All right. This is the basis rate. I think I screwed up that thing. Let's update it. How do I refresh? There you go. Reload. All right. Yeah, I did. All right. This basis we're starting to get, you notice how this basis is coming down now. That's what happens now in a down market. This made it, guys, markets are made for hedgers, and that basis was always something that was overhanging that market. Just said, you know what, with that big of a basis, we need to break it. And now we broke this basis substantially, and we're not in a backwardization. Now that's the other thing too. If we really hammer this thing and take it down below 40,000, we'll probably take the futures into backwardization. Bitcoin tends to do that. I don't know what would set it off, except there's a real big problem with all these ETFs. And there's also a big problem. I'll talk about that tomorrow. I think Dennis Crowder just did a great show on that. There's so much of they're actually using Bitcoin, and it's our politicians. That's the problem when you get politicians in the markets. They actually are setting up the Bitcoin market so they can inflate rather than using oil, or rather than using gold, or rather than using bond, whatever. The idea is that they're actually going to be using Bitcoin to for the next to keep the dollar alive, and it's a spooky situation. I have mixed opinion on it. I think I just did a retweet on who's the guy? Where's my Twitter?
Open up a new tab.
I'm not sure.
Open up a tab.
Oh, open up the tab. Okay. All right. Yeah. Peter Schiff. That's who it is. Yeah, Peter Schiff did. And so I whoops. All right. We can delete that one, I think. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good statement by Peter Schiff. Now, I disagree with him on Bitcoin all the way through. But he does come up. A lot of his thinking is very sound. And he said owning Bitcoin and ETF defeats the entire purpose of owning it. And I agree with that. It's no longer decentralized. It's not peer-to-peer. It's easily seized by authorities. It can't be used as currency for payments or transferred across the borders. It's not your keys. It's not your coins. Peter Schiff's starting to sound like a Bitcoiner. He understands it, and he's right on this one. And frankly, the Bitcoin community should kind of be ashamed of themselves of some of the stuff that they're doing. So, all right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. And again, I don't have an answer for you. Is this a spike or are we going into a downtrend? Well, I have to say that we're probably going to hang down here for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I think the moving average boys got short. They're not going to turn it around for a long time. The guys that sell things on moving averages, they are trend followers. Of course, they will also buy the rally, but did we fulfill all that we needed on the downside? Well, we're going to find out. And here we are. This is the chart I'm looking at right now. It's very disconcerting that I don't like the Chicago Merc trading Bitcoin. I thought Bitcoin was a lot freer market when we didn't have the mercantile exchange involved. And here we are on, let's get, okay. All right, and here's where we are on BitMEX. And you see, there is no gap here. In fact, we rallied all the way, where we closed out on Sunday. So this could be a major reversal. It's way too early to say. And so just keep on, hodl, save, and build, and hopefully you'll live to see sound money. I don't think I will, but hopefully you will. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.